Hey guys, the Classic Physique prejudging has wrapped up, and wow, let me just tell you, this is a crazy Olympia. This is your most probable top 3 for the 2024 Classic Physique Olympia. From left to right, you have Mike Sommerfeld, Chris Bumstead, and Urs Kalachensky. Let me tell you guys, this is easily the most exciting division as of right now, in my opinion, since we have a really dominant champion in the form of Chris, while everyone else is fighting for second, and they're all so close to each other, so anything could happen. I think the craziest thing about this callout is that Ramon and Wesley are out of the equation. I may talk more about this in the future. However, it seemed like Ramon was sweating a lot and wasn't posing too well, and Wesley just wasn't at 100%. It does go to show you that the competition is so close between these top guys, and anything could happen on that stage. Alright, looking at the first callout, we have Mike, Chris, and Urs, who all look spot on. I think that the biggest surprise is Urs' significant improvements overall, which are clearly seen in this first pose. His arms, lats, quads, everything looks bigger than Chris in my opinion, and his conditioning is nearly identical. Now, look, everything is maybe an overstatement, but that's just how impressed I am with Urs. Now, Chris still has grainier arms and, funnily enough, better arm genetics and insertions, and his frame and proportions are more pleasing to the eye. However, Urs looks ridiculously massive. Mike looks good as well, having the best arms and some tree trunk quads. However, his structure isn't on par with Urs or Chris's in my opinion. He is super dense and thick. However, his flow and X-frame are slightly worse. I'd say that Chris still takes this pose due to his ideal structure and proportions. However, Urs is extremely close and he is so massive now and could easily take it as well. Okay, that might be enough glazing for Urs because the side chest is a take-home pose for Chris, no questions needed. He has the best flow, proportions, and condition while retaining incredible size and mass. While the others may have better individual body parts, like Mike having a better arm and wider, thicker chest potentially, or Urs having a larger leg, Chris is pieced together perfectly and easily wins. I'd probably have Mike in second here, since his flow is just as good as Urs's, but with a larger arm, thicker chest, and even more detailed side leg. While Urs looks markedly better than what we've seen from him in the past, he still does look a bit weak in the arm and the chest as well compared to the other two. The rear double is also a pose where Chris dominates since his condition and size is unbeatable on his imposing frame. Interestingly, Mike has a thicker set of traps and a more developed lower back, and his delts look even more defined. However, his legs hold him back from behind, looking a bit flimsy in the inner thigh. His conditioning is spot on everywhere. However, again, I think he looks a bit top heavy. Urs is the complete opposite, having some of the best wheels in the world with incredible condition and development. His back has come up a good amount, especially in the lower half, and his arms and delts are peeled to the bone. However, he's not doing enough to win against Chris, obviously. It is definitely a toss-up between him and Mike, though, with Urs having better legs, good arms and delts, and a decent back, while Mike has a great upper body but somewhat of a lackluster lower half. I'd personally go with Urs for his larger stature and better proportions. However, Mike may objectively win in a judge's eyes because, he clearly has a better upper body and his lower body isn't all that bad. The ab and thigh is a close pose between these three, with my eyes actually gravitating towards Mike first. He has the thickest outer quads relative to his frame and incredible separation, the best abs in my opinion, and a decent flow. That flow is where he is hindered though, since he, has the least impressive V-taper. Chris is probably the most impressive in that aspect, having the widest frame, best lats, and great quads. However, his abs are easily the worst and pretty washed out. If he was pulling a vacuum, this pose would be his, which I assume he probably was, but the picture doesn't show it. However, I actually think that Urs pulls a victory in this pose. His abs have decent enough separation, great symmetry, and solid development, and he has those great quads to go along with them as well. He's like a hybrid of Mike and Chris, having Mike's quads and abs while taking Chris's incredible structure. I'd have this one playing out with Urs winning, Chris in second, and Mike in third. The final pose, the favorite classic shot, is hard to judge since Mike hits a front lat spread while Chris and Urs hit a similar pose. Judging off of who I prefer alone, I would go with Chris. His shape and flow are really eye-catching at first glance, and there's really not much else for me to say. Mike in the front lat spread just doesn't draw my attention towards him, since his lats aren't overly impressive like a guy like Chris or Urs. His shape isn't ridiculous as well, and overall he just doesn't really draw my attention like I said. Now he does have those wide shoulders and massive quads, however, those alone aren't going to win the shot. If anything, Urs actually looks the most impressive after further analysis, since his conditioning shines in the chest and quads, and his arms have really come up a lot to match his wide lats. I would like to see, maybe a little bit more size in the arms, but overall he looks great. Now, I could see this one going to Chris or Urs, since Chris is undoubtedly good and has great aesthetics, whereas Urs has cleaner separation in the quads, a great torso, and of course insane flow to match. Anyways, let me know down below who you have winning, since I do think that Chris will most likely get number 6 tonight. He's only lost one pose, the ab and thigh, and he dominated the side chest rear double, won the front double, and had the last pose as a 50-50. If you enjoyed the video, a like and sub would really be appreciated as it helps out the channel a lot, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.